Hey, my name is Kelsey Bowen, and I chose to attend the New Student Dialogue. They say age is only a number, a dialogue only privilege of age. And during our group, I believe that we did achieve a true dialogue because everybody in my group realized that we were there to learn something new from our leaders, from the information that our leaders passed out, and from just other people participating in this new student dialogue. We acknowledged that everybody would have different opinions than our own, and that we could, disagree with their opinions and state ours without being nasty about it. And that we didn't have to blame people for having a different opinion because everybody has one. Nothing anybody can do about it. And everybody in my group had a very active voice. Everybody talked. Some talked more than others did. But everybody did give their opinion at least once or twice. So that was really neat because normally when you attend groups, not everybody talks. There's always like a handful of quiet people, and then, the big group that's always talking. And it didn't happen in our group. And in my group, I was one of the older people in my group, or oldest people in our group, but I wasn't the oldest. There were 2 or 3 people that were older than me, and then the rest of the people, I believe, were 18. So it was interesting that I was able to give input like kind of in the middle, because one of the leaders mentioned that when she turned 21, she was able to rent hotel rooms by herself without having to have somebody who was 21 or older there. Well, certain hotel rooms, not all, because some you have to be 25. But she could rent some now. And I was like, oh yeah, it's one of those awesome feelings being 21, because you can do so many things now on your own without having to have someone else there with you. Like, well, obviously you can't drink without, but you can rent hotel rooms, or you can buy a gun and without having somebody else there. It's awesome. It just makes you feel more grown up, more mature. It just gives you like a new empowerment. Yeah, I can do it on my own. So I was just kind of there to give my middle ground input. And we also had a debate on whether the drinking age should be lowered to 18 or it should continue to stay at 21. And there were 2 or 3 people in our group that were in the military or had been previously in the military. And I'm pretty sure all 3 of them agreed that the drinking age needed to be lowered to 18 because they thought that if you could fight and die for our country, then you should be able to drink. And there were a few other people in our group that agreed with those 3. And then there were other people who agreed that it should stay 21, me being one of those, that it should stay 21 because people are just more mature at 21 than you are when you're 18. 18-year-olds don't realize that, alcohol is, it can make you do things that, you didn't want to do and all kinds of stuff. And I feel like being 21, it's just, you've been in college for a while now, you understand things more, so you're able to, realize, oh, hey, I shouldn't drink as much, or, or your friends won't be able to pressure you into doing it as much as probably an 18-year-old would. 18-year-olds' friends would. So it was an interesting argument, or debate, I guess, not really an argument. Let's see, what else? We had to do, excuse me, a group activity, well, not a group activity, an activity where we wrote down our age, our gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, our socioeconomic class, and a few other things in this circle chart. And then you had to make a pie chart, and the bigger sections, of course, would be the things that were more important to you. And for most of the people, their religious standing was the most important to them. Age was more important to some people, especially to me, because I was so excited. I just turned 21. I could legally drink. One of our leaders and a girl that was sitting beside me, their ethnicity was more important to them because they had a rich cultural background that they knew about and that their parents were teaching them. Like, the girl sitting beside me was Italian, and, she was learning all about Italian life and stuff now that she was older, and she, was more able to appreciate it, and she was really interested in that, and so that was more important to her than being her age or her race or gender. And it was just really cool that, age wasn't as important to her, but it was more important for her to be an Italian. And at first I was like, I'd rather be, 21. But then as I was thinking about it, I was like, well, no, you're going to get older. That's not really going to matter. But, you're always going to be whatever your ethnicity is. So maybe it's more important to learn about that than your age. Another thing that we learned about age is that I think it was either in China or Japan, I'm not sure which, you had to be 30 to vote, or you had to be a really high up age to vote, and that blew everybody's mind in our group, because in the U.S. it's 18, and we're so accustomed to it being 18 that for somebody to be 30 to just be able to start voting was crazy. One person was like, I don't want to live there because I like being able to vote now, and it's like, yeah, I agree. You have to wait almost half of your life before you're even able to vote. But then again, that does make sense that you have to wait so long because, by the time you're 30, you should be more mature. You should be able to make more informed decisions, and that would make sense. That way you could choose the best candidate that was running for whichever office. So, it made sense, but it was just mind-boggling when I first saw that, and I was like, whoa, you have to wait so long? And then another one that I learned was, I can't remember the country, but you had to be 25 to own a gun. And another one, you had to be 18 to have a job, and a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, I want to move to this country. And then I was like, yeah, I kind of liked being able to work when I was in high school. That way I had money to do what I wanted to. And as for the gun, I don't know, it makes sense that being 25 would be a better age to own a gun than 18, because, if you're going to be purchasing this potentially dangerous weapon, you should be able to be mature enough to own it and handle it and not do stupid things with it. And dialogue was definitely an important part of Library 100. It's a very useful tool in my university experience because you meet so many different people that have different views than you. They're just completely opposite of you, and you can't just be mean to everybody and be like, oh, I don't like your opinion, sorry, no, don't talk to me. If you did that, then you would exclude almost the whole school. So it's very important that people realize that people have different views, that you have to be respectful of these views, because if not, nobody's gonna like that. So you have to be mindful. But it was a very interesting thing, and I thought I would be bored for the whole time that I was in session, but I actually learned new things. It was interesting, and I had a blast. So that's it.